Beyond the red planet Mars and past the mighty gas giants, a frozen world can be found, a world that has captured the hearts of millions ever since it was discovered more than 90 years ago. This is a short but true story about the extraordinary man that discovered the icy dwarf planet that we call Pluto. Born on February 4, 1906, Clyde Tombaugh was raised in Streator, Illinois. In 1922, at the age of 16, his family moved to a farm near Burdett, Kansas, with the hope of starting a bountiful life on a new plot of land. From a young age, it seems that Tombaugh had a keen interest in astronomy, something that was encouraged by his family, and it is reported that his interest really took hold after he peered through his uncle's telescope and closely observed parts of the cosmos for the first time. Unimpressed with store-purchased telescopes, however, at just 20 years old, Tombaugh taught himself how to build his own, from hand-ground mirrors and parts of farming equipment. Over the course of his life, Tombaugh impressively built more than 30 telescopes by himself, but it was in 1928 when he successfully made detailed observations of Mars and Jupiter that his path in astronomy really began to take shape. Tombaugh sent his surprisingly detailed drawings of Mars and Jupiter to the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, hoping that the astronomers there would provide him with feedback. The drawings impressed the Lowell Observatory director so much, however, that he was offered a position as an amateur astronomer and groundskeeper instead, occasionally allowing Tombaugh to operate the observatory's new photographic telescope in search of, among other things, the mysterious Planet X. Back in the 19th century, many years before Tombaugh had ever begun his search for Pluto, astronomers thought that Uranus was the outermost planet in the solar system. But they also believed that something was gravitationally disturbing Uranus's orbit, and so concluded that there must be an undiscovered eighth planet. In 1846, Neptune was mathematically predicted and then observed with telescopes, proving that there are still undiscovered objects in the outer solar system. Yet the mystery of Uranus's orbit wasn't solved, as further observations indicated that the ice giant was perhaps being influenced by yet another large object beyond Neptune, and so the hunt for the so-called Planet X began. When Tombaugh was hired back in 1929, he joined the search for the elusive Planet X by using the observatory's camera-equipped telescope that could capture 2 photographs of the same patch of sky on different days. Then, with the help of a device called a blink comparator, Tombaugh compared the photographs, allowing him to see if any noticeable changes in the star patterns had occurred. Stars and galaxies essentially remain in the same position in the images, but any bright objects that are closer, such as planets orbiting the Sun, could be visually identified by their motion across the sky. However, these unidentified objects are not easy to pick out, as each photograph would be covered with sometimes millions of dots of light, and so it took Tombaugh up to a week to examine every pair of exposures. Despite this repetitive challenge, eventually he did spot a change, because after 10 months of searching the night sky, a large, previously unidentified mass within our solar system moving in front of the distant stars was discovered beyond Neptune. These are the original photographic plates dated from January 23, 1930 and January 29, 1930 that reveal Clyde Tombaugh's discovery. An object that at the time was considered the solar system's 9th planet and the mysterious Planet X. Just like the other 8 planets in the solar system, the newly discovered Planet X required an official name, and so the staff at the observatory opened up a worldwide call for suggestions. The best came from 11-year-old Venetia Burney of Oxford, England, who thought that the icy planet should be named Pluto, after the Roman god of the underworld, a seemingly suitable name for the solar system's most distant planet. Unfortunately, not long after Pluto was discovered, astronomers realized that the newly found icy planet was too small to cause the irregularities seen in Uranus's orbit, and so the hunt for the elusive planet X once again started. Pluto endured as our solar system's 9th planet for more than 70 years, before being controversially reclassified as a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union in 2006. A change in status that was caused by the discovery of other Pluto-sized objects within a region called the Kuiper Belt, the area that Pluto exists within. Clyde Tombaugh went from being a farmer's son to a promising amateur astronomer to then an internationally famous planet hunter. Before his death on January 17, 1997, he not only discovered Pluto, but was also credited with the discovery of many galactic clusters, hundreds of asteroids, and a comet, among many other things. But although Tombaugh's life had sadly come to an end, his journey was only really just beginning. Just 9 years after Tombaugh's passing, NASA launched the incredible interplanetary probe, New Horizons, a spacecraft that was designed to fly by Pluto and capture close-up images as well as other scientific data. New Horizons wasn't on its own, however, as fixed to the inside upper deck of the spacecraft is a small container holding part of Clyde Tombaugh's ashes, an amazing gesture that allowed him to travel to his planet. Printed on the container is an inscription that reads, "Interred herein are remains of American Clyde W. Tombaugh, discoverer of Pluto and the solar system's third zone, Adele and Muron's boy, Patricia's husband, Annette and Alden's father, astronomer, teacher, punster, and friend, Clyde W. Tombaugh, 1906 to 1997. New Horizons successfully passed Pluto and its moons in July 2015, becoming the first spacecraft ever to visit the distant dwarf planet. A heartwarming thought is that Clyde Tombaugh made that long journey, and that although he wasn't able to see the magnificent close-up images that were transmitted back to Earth at the time, a small part of him was instead able to visit Pluto, the dwarf planet that he discovered, and the dwarf planet that revealed its magnificent heart to humanity.